Trying to find the right words for this. Thought last slate couldn't get any worse. No way. Right? There is no way this slate could get any worse last night. Played Chris Boucher. Thought he was a solid pivot off Precious Achua. DNP. Played Dame. 1 of 10 shooting in the first half. Played Kyrie in the late slate. 1 of 10 shooting first half. Also, he was over three-pointers prop. 0 3-pointers at half. But forgot about this one. Giga Chalk, for no reason, Kyle Anderson. He's just the greatest player. It is his team now. This is not Anthony Edwards' team. This is Kyle Anderson's team. At almost 50% ownership, massive triple-double with multiple steals and blocks for the absolute fish to bail them out. But you see, all of this, for me, would have been okay. Because once we got the Suns starting lineup, and Giga Chalk Saban Lee was not in it, I was like, all right, there is a very realistic shot he DNPs, right? We gotta pivot off. Have to. We absolutely have to. Especially at what he was projected for ownership-wise. I'm thinking, okay, all the sharps, they're going to come off Saban Lee, right? They got to get off him. There's a decent chance he could DNP. Yeah, you got to pivot off. 70% still. 70% for a guy in a 10-day contract who could DNP. Okay? First quarter goes by. I was the happiest man on this planet. Even though all those other things had happened, I was going to be able to sleep well at night, knowing that 70% of the field played a guy that was going to DNP because Dwayne Washington checked in first. So I'm thinking, yes. finally, the fish, the slappies, the droolers, whatever you want to call them, finally they're punished. And finally, the people that didn't fall asleep at the wheel get rewarded. Saben Lee checked in the second quarter. Saben Lee knocked down 3 straight threes. Multiple assists. It's like 20 fantasy points at half. I mean this when I say NBA DFS makes you crazy. I feel like a crazy person. I am actually so mad. I have never been more mad. I've never been more mad. I really don't know what else to say. I don't know what else. I'm literally speechless at the events that occurred tonight. Giga Chalk slow-mo turning into vintage Russell Westbrook. Giga Chalk Saben Lee with a decent chance that could DNP. Nukes the slate in like 6 minutes off the bench. Chris Boucher, DNP, to just end my night right away. Feeling a little bit crazy right now. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. So, let's talk about this 9-game slate. Let's just forget the events that occurred tonight. I would like to block those out forever. I will probably be having nightmares tonight, but let's just forget what happened tonight. That didn't happen, right? Saben Lee fish, the slow-mo fish, no. It didn't happen. Kyle Anderson went for 25 fantasy points. Saben Lee DNP'd. That's what happened. All right, so let's talk about this 9-game slate. We'll start off with New Orleans. No Zion, no Brandon Ingram. Najee Marshall is questionable, and Herbert Jones is questionable. If they are both out, you should get pretty big minutes for a guy like Trey Murphy. I would expect somewhere in the neighborhood of like 35-ish minutes. He had a bad shooting game last game, but relatively cheap price point for him. You'd also get Dyson Daniels still in the starting lineup. He played 33 minutes last game. I think he would look pretty solid. And then I would guess that Jose Alvarado probably starts in the scenario that Herb Jones and Najee Marshall are out. So I think the starting line would be Alvarado, CJ, Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels, and JV. That would be my guess. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be the starting lineup if both Herb Jones and Najee Marshall are out. If that's the case, again, Jose Alvarado is going to be a pretty good value here at 4.6. So Pelicans value would look pretty good if both those guys are out. And then CJ and JV, they're kind of leading the offense. Couple quiet games of late for CJ McCollum. Jonas Valanciunas, minutes, a little bit up and down. Last game was a blowout, though. Like, if you continue to give JV like 30-plus minutes, he is too cheap at this price. So do like him. And then Larry Nance is playing the backup 5, but his minutes have ticked down of late. And if both Marshall and Herbert Jones are out, then maybe like Devontae Graham becomes playable here at the flat min price. Played 20 minutes last game, even though it was a blowout. I think he would see at least some solid run off the bench. If Marshall and Herb Jones are both in, I don't know if there's anything that stands out to me outside of like JV and CJ. So, important to keep an eye on that news. Moving on to Orlando. So, Franz Wagner is questionable. Not sure who would start in his place, but Paulo Banchero, 7'6", totally fine in tournaments. Should play 35-ish minutes in competitive game. Wendell Carter Jr., kind of just indifferent on him. He's going to play around 30 minutes. I'm totally fine going there. Markel Fultz, we know has a ceiling, but also relatively low floor. Always like him in tournaments. Kind of the same thing with Cole Anthony. He's more of a tournament-only play. Bull basically been out of this rotation, so he did play 18 minutes last game. Was that their most recent game? It was. So we'll see. If Bull starts, then he's in consideration for me. He comes to the bench, it's pretty risky. Mo Wagner been playing the backup 5. Jalen Suggs, minutes just haven't really been there, so I don't think I can play him yet. Gary Harris at 3-4 could play a bit more if Franz Wagner's out. Maybe Terrence Ross gets a little bit more run as well. So let's move on to Golden State and Cleveland. It's a back-to-back, so I think Klay Thompson will rest. We'll see, though. If Klay Thompson does rest, I would guess they go back to Steph, Poole, Wiggins, Draymond, Looney. They switch up the starting lineup tonight and went with that small ball lineup, moved Looney to the bench, but I would guess that would be the starting lineup if Klay Thompson does sit. Steph Curry, 10-4, like his upside in tournaments. We saw a pretty big game from him tonight. Wiggins, Draymond, I think are probably the easiest guys to get to, though. Bulls should play 30 to 35 minutes. Neither are priorities, though, in a tougher matchup. And then, Looney, assuming he starts, I think is a fair play at 4-9. Let's talk about Cleveland. Really just depends on Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is in, then I would say there's probably no standouts. If Mitchell's out, then I think Garland and LeVert both look pretty good. You saw a really big game from Darius Garland last game. Karis LeVert moved in the starting lineup and played past the minutes, 42 minutes. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, those guys are both relatively safe options as well. I thought Mobley was a bit over-owned last slate, so we'll see if the ownership comes in on him, even though he did have a good game. And then Okoro has been playing well. I still don't think I can stomach it, but his minutes have ticked up a bit of late. Ricky Rubio, not playing enough minutes yet for me to consider him, I don't think. That's Cleveland. If Mitchell's in, I think Mitchell himself makes for a pretty good play. And then LeVert would be out of play for me if Mitchell is in. Miami and Dallas, so tougher spot here for Miami, but this game in general just should be pretty ugly. But I think Bam Adebayo's price point 8-4 is a pretty fair price. He should play 35-ish minutes in a competitive game. I like him. I think Jimmy Butler is fine, but I think I'd rather get to Tyler Hero at 6-7. So I think Hero and Bam Adebayo, factoring their price, probably look the best on this team. Lowry, 5-1. They kind of took it easy in his first game back, plus it was a blowout. But if he's no longer on a limit, then I think he's someone that you can get to at that price. On the Dallas side, so I literally just look at the recent games here for Luka. Let's just go over these last 10 or so games, all right? 82, did not play him. 60, did not play him. 110, did not play him. 81, did not play him. 85, did not play him. 68, did not play him. 36, played him. 66, did not play him. 72, did not play him. 80, did not play him. 42, played him. 44, played him. Is that not evidence that no one runs worse? If that's not, if the events that occurred tonight plus this are not proof that no one runs worse, I don't know what is. I'm probably not going to play Luka, so give him 80 fantasy points and triple overtime. Tim Hardaway Jr. is expected to be back, but Hardaway, Dinwiddie, they're fine. I guess they look a little bit better with Christian Wood out. Dorian Finney-Smith in his first game back was not on a limit, played 35 minutes. I actually kind of like him for value. Would rather go to him over Reggie Bullock. Also got a lot of run, though, too. And then I would guess that you get Dwight Powell start at the flat min price. He's going to be definitely in play for value. I think you could get some minutes with JaVale McGee. Now, if you told me that Powell and McGee split the center minutes, split the full 48 center minutes, then I would really like JaVale McGee because he's a good point per minute guy. But my worry is that they play Powell a good amount and then maybe they try to go small with Bertans or Dorian Finney-Smith. So that's my concern. But again, if you told me that McGee was getting a decent minutes tonight or tomorrow, I would really, really like him. All right, New York and Atlanta. New York, pretty easy to talk about. Robinson is out, so they're going to start either Jericho Sims or Isaiah Hartenstein at the 5. Whoever starts, I think it's going to become a pretty good value play, whether it be Sims or Hartenstein. So just keep an eye on it. Whoever starts, I would prefer. Randall, Brunson, Barrett, these guys are all going to play a ton of minutes. It's a pretty good spot. I have no issue with any of these guys. I don't think any of them like really stand out. I think Barrett probably the easiest to get to at 6'5", but yeah, the main 3 guys, I think they all look pretty good. And then whoever starts at the 5. I don't really think there's anything else I'm going to get to with like Quickly or Grimes or anyone else. Maybe you get a little bit more run for Obi Toppin with Mitchell Robinson now. Like maybe they try to go small with Randall at the 5 and Toppin possibly at the 4. Yeah, let's move on to Atlanta. So Trae Young, questionable, and Bogdanovich is questionable too. So if they're both in, I'm so excited to get let down by DeJounte Murray again. Last time Trae Young was out, played him, 24 fantasy points. But since then, with Trae Young in, 49, 51, and 48 fantasy points. Trae Young out, team to himself, no way. Massive bust. Capello, Okongwu, they're splitting center minutes. John Collins, I mean, if there's no Trae Young, I think it's viable in tournaments. And then, like, if both these guys are out, Young and Bogdanovich, then, like, Hunter, AJ Griffin start becoming, viable options. So we'll see. If they're both in, Trae Young and Bogdanovich, then I think it's just, guys that you can take shots on in tournaments. Clippers and the Spurs, not a ton that stands out for me on the Clippers side. Kawhi and Paul George both in. I think my favorite play, if there's no limit, would be Paul George himself. But I don't know if he would be getting his full minutes yet. If you want to try to take a shot on Zubac, that's fine. We know he is a guy that does have a ceiling. And I'll mention Reggie Jackson, who's playing the backup point guard role. Only played 14 minutes here because his back tightened up. But 3-7, if he plays like close to 20 minutes, I think he's at least in consideration at probably low ownership. Moving on to the Spurs, this guy, come on, man. Keldon Johnson also just causes me immense pain. I mean, I roster him all the time, and he just can't hit a shot. 61. Really? When I don't play? Really? 7-5, though. Like, I think he's more of just a tournament play. Trey Jones kind of had a letdown game, but he's usually pretty consistent. Jakob Poeltl is... That was literally my flag plant last slate. It was all over him. Took his over points prop at 12.5. Massive foul trouble to bail out the faders. Was on pace for 50+. It's just like, again, any piece of bad luck that happens, bad variance in the slate, you better believe they're in my lineup. Whether it be foul trouble, whether it be a random DNP, just they're in. If anything happens, injuries, they're in my lineup. You don't have to ask. Sohan, Richardson are fair value plays. If Poeltl gets in foul trouble again, Collins would benefit at 3.8. McDermott, Langford, I guess are fine, but they're not exciting values. Pacers and Nuggets. Well, this game does have some blowout risk, so there is some guys that have a ceiling if the game says competitive. Miles Turner would be one of those guys who didn't play much last game because the game just turned into a massive blowout. Healed, Mathurin obviously look better with Halliburton out. You have Nemhard who should start and play 30+ minutes like him. If TJ McConnell nukes tomorrow, if he goes off, oh boy, woo-wee. If he gets ownership tomorrow and goes for like 40+ fantasy points, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna be really, really, really mad if that happens. Really mad. Better not happen. Now, if McConnell's like low owned, then I'm more fine playing him. But he was like a quarter of the field, played him last slate. Yeah, no thank you. Jalen Smith should play the backup 5. If you think Turner gets in foul trouble, you can take a shot on him. But they can still like dust off like Jackson or they dust off Goga. Like this rotation, they have a lot of guys. So like if the Pacers get off to a slow start like last game, they can just empty the bench. So that's the worry there with the Pacers. On the Nuggets side, as long as the game stays competitive, I think Jokic looks like a phenomenal spend up. I mean, he should be able to smash here. My only concern is potential blowout. The mid-range guys are just there with Murray, Gordon, MPJ. I think my favorite would be Jamal Murray. But yeah, Jokic, I love the ceiling on him if you think the game stays competitive. But there is blowout risk. Brooklyn and Utah. So, I mean, Kyrie Irving, someone someone needs to like look into this. Like, write me a paper. What is with Kyrie Irving without Kevin Durant? I need someone to like write a novel on it. I just don't get it, man. Without Kevin Durant, so much usage to go around, back-to-back busts, and then tonight he's like 1 of 10 shooting. Someone needs to do some research on that and tell me what on earth is going on here. So, yeah, I assume no one's going to play Kyrie, but still think he's going to play for tournaments. I think the front court and Claxton and Ben Simmons are fine. Ben Simmons is always in foul trouble. I took his over fantasy score tonight. Massive foul trouble for Ben Simmons. Finally didn't take Robert Williams over points. Been taking that over every single day. He just hooks me every time. Finally don't take the Robert Williams over points. Goes over at halftime. Everyone else just feels a bit pricey with like Royce and Curry and Warren, Joe Harris. I guess Joe Harris would probably be the value play that I would consider the most. I will say, like, Cam Thomas is in the rotation tonight. Not sure if he's going to be in the rotation again, but he's the guy that will come out there and chuck. So if you want to try to take a shot at him in a large field tournament, be my guest. Moving on to Utah, this guy's really pissing me off, man. This guy's really, really pissing me off. No, I am not playing max price Laurie. If people that play max price Laurie get like a 50 bomb again, I'm going to be really, really, really mad. The guy that I do like is Walker Kessler. He should play around 30 minutes. He's been playing very, very well. Good rebounder, good shot blocker. I think he's the best play in Utah. I really like him. Clarkson and Conley are just there. I don't really think there's anyone else I'm going to consider with Markkanen back, though. Memphis and the Lakers. So, John Morant, 9.6. That's a reasonable price point for him. So, blowout here. Went to the locker room here. Only played 33 minutes. So, if you give Ja like 36 minutes here against the Lakers, I do like his ceiling. There is, maybe a little bit of blowout risk, but it is being played in the Lakers or, in LA. So I like the ceiling on Ja Morant. Triple J, Bane, both fine tournament plays. I think Adams is a pretty safe play, should play close to 30 minutes. He should be able to feast against this front court. I mean, Dylan Brooks is cheap, but it's not a fun roster. It's not a fun roster. Not at all. On the Lakers side, LeBron listed as questionable for the 100th straight game. I expect him to play. Assuming he plays, I think he's a solid contrarian spin up. I wouldn't call him a priority, but don't mind him in tournaments. Russell Westbrook at 8.8K, also viable GBPs. The price point feels a little bit much. The minutes have ticked way down on Thomas Bryant. They've been closing games with Wendy and Gabriel. So, Gabriel is a bit cheaper. Guess I lean him, but like if you told me Thomas Bryant was going to play 30 minutes, I would like him a lot. The price just doesn't seem like the Lakers want to go that direction of late. Value, I don't know, man. Troy Brown only played 22 minutes last game. Kendrick Nunn only played 16 minutes. Beverly, they can dust off Christie. They can play JTA. Like Christie, barely played 2 games ago. Then played 27 minutes. I don't know if I can stomach playing this Lakers value. I don't think I can do it. And finally, the Thunder and the Kings. So Josh Giddey been playing very well of late. He's been the go-to guy over Shea. Shea's 9.7. Giddey is 7.7. For me personally, I would rather take the shot in Shea at lower ownership than Giddey. I think Giddey's going to be pretty popular. And while I think Giddey's a solid play, my guess is he'll probably go a bit over-owned. So not saying you can't fade him. It just depends on the rest of your lineup, or can't play him. But yeah, I think he'll probably be a little bit over-owned in tournaments. Williams and Dort, they should play 30-plus minutes. I think Williams would probably be the preference there for me. I like his ceiling a little bit more. But Dort did go for 44 last game. So the 2 wings are viable. You saw Kendrick Williams go for 50 fancy points in 20 minutes last game. If he starts again at the 5, sure, I guess. But I just never feel good about the Thunder front court rotation. And finally, the Kings, it really comes down to Sabonis, man. If Sabonis plays, I don't think there's anything that stands out here for the Kings. And Sabonis himself, I think, would be a decent play. If Sabonis misses, that's where things just really change. That's where De'Aaron Fox would become one of the best plays of the slate, gets a usage bump, becomes the clear go-to guy. Would really like Fox. The wings would all look better in Barnes, Herter, and Murray. Barnes played 40 minutes last game. Herter played 33. You saw, 37, I think, for Keegan Murray. So they all played a ton. They would look better. This guy, man. Oh, he has also cost me infinite money. Infinite money. Here's the thing with Malik Monk. He's going to fail a lot because when he struggles shooting like last night, they're going to limit him. But when he comes off the bench and makes his shots, he has a really high ceiling because he's a high usage player. But I have played him so many times of late, and he keeps shooting 5% from the field. Literally 1 of 9 shooting last game. So I once again like him for tournaments. I once again will probably play him, and I once again will probably be punished with bad variance shooting 1 of 10 probably. That's probably what's going to happen. The front court. So Richaun Holmes started, played 31 minutes. I didn't think he'd play 31. I thought he'd play somewhere in the mid-20s minute range, but 31 minutes for Holmes. If he starts again for Sabonis, I think he does stand out. I do like Trey Lyles, though, too. Minutes didn't really change for him, but I think he's a viable option. And then Metu got the backup 5 run, played 17 minutes. Like what you could do if you're not looking good going into the late game and Sabonis is out, like you could play Metu over Holmes or like Trey Lyles over Holmes and just hope that Holmes gets in foul trouble or something, because I have a feeling if Sabonis gets rolled out, Holmes is going to be very, very popular. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I got to go sleep away the pain. I got to do something. I don't know. I need to forget the events that occurred the last couple days. I just need to erase those from my memory. Erase them from my memory. Never happened. Never happened. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.